This is Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance, and we are joined today by Gerald Allen. He is a member of the Alabama State Senate. And so I want to speak with you about budgets, governmental budgets. As we know, virtually every state is required to have a balanced budget. They don't have the ability to run deficits.
Absolutely.
The federal government is a little different. Talk to us about what you know in terms of the distinction between the two.
Certainly, you know, there's one or two states in the country that does not have a balanced budget amendment, but Alabama does.
Sure.
And of course, you know, the revenue that we bring in, of course, we set the budgets.
Right.
And of course, the current problem that we have in this current budget issue is that the government entitlements and the Medicaid issues is growing much faster than the revenue.
Here in Alabama.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, on the same side of the equation, when you look at Washington, when you look at $18.5 trillion
Just 18.5 trillion.
That's right.
And growing.
That's exactly right. And so, you know, when you look at this and look at the long-term effects that's going to have on our children and mounting your grandchildren.
And talk to us about that. We hear a lot of discussion that our debt is owned by China, which seems a bit troubling to
and many
some.
others. Absolutely, it is. And this Compact for America.
Yeah, tell us about that, sir, please.
Yes, the Compact for America is an initiative that 38 states must be involved in this. Recently, we passed a Senate version of the bill, and the House, of course, is going to pass it, and then that moves on, then joining other states in the formation of a compact.
Because the number 38 is relevant. That gives us a 3/4 of the 50 states, if I did my math correctly, and that's what one needs to get a constitutional amendment, at least to get the process beginning.
That's right.
And so how...
Article 5 of the Constitution, U.S. Constitution, gives us guidance as a state and as a nation on how to correct problems that faces our great country.
Right.
And this is one of those issues that we cannot continue to go down this road, kicking the can down the road, because of the tremendous burden that is going to be placed on our children, grandchildren.
So is Alabama one of the first states to sign up with the compact, or is it in the middle, or where are we?
Well, there are 4 states already, okay? And Georgia was the first to pass.
Okay.
Then Alaska, then North Dakota, and Mississippi.
Okay.
And then, of course, there are 3 or 4 other states in play.
Right.
And of course, we've got to get this done within 7 years. It's a timeline.
Right.
But the unique thing about this is that it's going to be a 24-hour convention.
Right, because there is a concern that if you open a constitutional convention, who knows what could be brought forward.
As a term that's been used many times.
Right.
A runaway convention.
Right. Although, wouldn't that be fun to
be
part of a constitutional convention, sir?
Come
on.
We want to, make sure that this doesn't happen.
Right.
So a 24-hour convention.
Can that be done? I mean, I'm learning as we're talking, you can set the parameters.
The piece of legislation that the Senate passed
spells
it out. And so the delegates is going to be the governor, the Speaker of the House, and a member from the minority party.
This is a federal constitutional convention, correct? Or is
it's going to be held in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And so you're going to have 3 delegates from each state. Each state will have 3 delegates.
Got it.
And so they'll go in for 24 hours, and one question would be voted on. One question. That is about the issue of the balanced budget amendment.
So let's talk about where you go from here, because intuitively, when you think about a balanced budget amendment, it feels right. It feels good. We have balanced budget amendments in our homes, if you think about it. I mean, we have to balance our budgets at home.
Absolutely.
But what some folks say is that in times of war, for example, we need to be able to deficit spend. In times of crisis, we need to be able to deficit. Okay. So tell us, sir. Please continue.
That is written in the bill.
Okay.
And all 38 states will address this issue that you just brought up.
Okay.
In times of emergencies, of active war,
Right.
then our country will be prepared, and each state will be prepared to act on this, to give the country the necessary funding and the tools it needs to address those issues.
And would allow the deficit spending during the crisis.
That's exactly right.
So this is exciting in a lot of ways. As a student of American government and history, you could be making history as we speak. You know, back in, I guess, the 70s, there was an effort to pass the Equal Rights Amendment, and that got close. It got, I think, 37 states, was it?
Yeah.
And so it's not easy to get that 38.
No, it's not.
It's not. So talk to me about your efforts. I mean, you have an interesting mix now. You have some southern states, you have North Dakota, and you know, these tend to be redder states. Not to say that a balanced budget amendment is a red-blue issue. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of folks that are blue that see the advantages of it.
Well, one of the things that's going to happen if this issue in the national debt is not addressed is that the pie will become smaller as far as the Social Security issues and Medicaid issues and Medicare issues and education issues. So more money that we owe it's going to shrink the pie, and the states is going to feel the burden.
But how do you convince 38 states to get on board? I mean, I can envision a scenario where you quickly get to, let's say, 25. I could see that. I'm sure you could do the math as well.
Well, see now,
how do you get to that
it appears that you have done your homework quite well already.
I try.
Because the number that we feel like that's going to be, sort of a bump in the road is going to be 24.
Right. Okay. So
And see once for instance the debate this summer.
Right.
To raise the debt limit.
Right. It's a yearly debate. I mean,
so this summer that debate will take place, and again the American people will be seeing in the news, witnessing again the Washington political circles saying, let's kick the can down the road again.
Let me ask you, if I may, if this amendment does pass, what happens with the existing debt?
Okay.
Is that a fair question?
That's a fair question. A few things will take place. The policymakers in Washington and in the states will say, okay, get your house in order.
Right.
Okay. Start cutting programs.
Okay.
And
will the American people be willing?
And then you're going to be able to see the economic growth of our economy, and then that will start developing a streamline of funds that starts paying off the debt.
Because ultimately,
that's right.
That we need to pay off that debt.
That's right.
I mean, the interest on the debt,
that's right,
as you know, is crushing in some ways.
I the other day I don't mean to promote anyone.
Please, no,
but,
please.
But there was a candidate running for president, said the other day in Mobile.
Okay.
That,
you can say his name or her name if you'd like.
Ben Carson.
Okay.
Said, if we give, pay $10,000 a day,
we still wouldn't pay it off
for 5,000 years.
5,000, then we'd pay it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's daunting.
So we must come to grips with this issue.
Mr. Allen, I want to thank you for joining us and bringing up this very important issue. It's an important conversation, and I look forward to the next few years to see what happens.
Well, absolutely, and for the benefit of your children, grandchildren, it's going to be a big hit for us.
He is Gerald Allen. He is a member of the Alabama State Senate. My name is Brad Pomerance. It's Charter Local Edition.